Welcome, everybody. It is so great to be here today with Layla, who is in New York City. And Layla, if you don't mind, just for those people who don't know who you are, or maybe those that do and don't know this much about you, share a little bit about yourself, your professional background, and what led you to come join the OpenEXO community.
Okay. So my name is Layla Hecker. I am a veteran of the United States military. I was in the Navy. I used to fix planes on Top Gun base. Almost every plane that was in the movie used to be planes that I used to work on back in the day. So that's always going to be cool, no matter how much time has passed, right? I'm actually a fourth generation veteran. After I got out of the Navy, I did many years working in a variety of companies like Revlon and Victoria's Secret and high end jewelry companies, hedge funds, banks. I've kind of gone the gamut. Most of that time, I was either an executive assistant, C suite type, or generally I was doing some sort of strategic planning, event planning, that kind of thing. But in my normal life, I am, I guess, what people call a polymath. I read a lot. I have read over one book a day my entire life. I don't even recall a time when I have not. I can read 9 or 10 books in a weekend if I have some time. I took a speed reading class, Harry Lorraine, shout out to him, when I was in third grade. That changed the trajectory of my reading life for sure. Books have been my jam for a really long time. So, because of that love of learning, and I have always been interested in learning how to learn.
Mm.
I now can take in a vast amount of information at a very fast pace in comparison to most, right? But I'm not GPT. I'm not Chat GPT. I'm not Perplexity AI. I'm not a ninja, but I'm pretty okay. So that is my superpower. I've come to realize my superpower is ingesting knowledge and being able to make use of that knowledge. Now, for all of these years of my life, for the most part, I did not share that information with others because I just, I was just doing it because I liked it, not necessarily because I thought someone needed it.
Mm.
And even when I worked at all of those different jobs, I did my job, but I wasn't bringing to the table all of the things that I have and know and am, right? Until I came to OpenEXO. When I came to OpenEXO, I learned about it through the Tom Bilyeu interview. That sparked the desire. Oh, what's that? And I followed the trail and I joined OpenEXO and I took the foundations course and I read the book that day. And I started looking up information because I was like, this seems like this could be my tribe. Seemed like these are people who are like me. Number one, they believe in growing all the time because I believe in growing all the time. And I believe in doing something for a higher reason beyond yourself.
Mm.
And so having a place where everyone has an MTP is like the greatest thing ever, in my opinion. It's like having an understanding that these people who are in this group care about the world at whatever level that they do. But they do. It could be from here to there and any step in between. That doesn't matter to me, but they do. They want to see good things happen for the planet and for the people on the planet. And then walks AI into my life. Holy smokes. So this is July 2023 is the first time I ever really touched AI at all. And then I just threw myself down a rabbit hole and I have not come out of it yet. So I don't know how I'm going to fare in this situation. I used to tell people at first, the first couple of days, oh, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. Scrap that. I'm pulling that back. Anybody who heard me say that, I'm taking that back officially. It is like trying to drink out of Niagara Falls. It is so much stuff going on every day, every minute. And because I follow the trails, go down the rabbit holes, I am not just looking at the surface article, I'm pulling up the paper. I'm seeing what they said here. I'm looking at this video and then following up with that video and then making a Notion page about it and like all of these things. So, needless to say, the AI situation is the biggest change in all of humanity. It is going to change everything to some degree. And over time, it would have changed everything. But in 1 to 3 years, it will change everything to some degree. And people need to get prepared for that. We can't swear to it, of course, but if you were telling me to bet your money, please, people, bet your money, go learn AI, bet your money, because this is a part of our life to some degree forever. And it is at the worst place that it's ever going to be. So buckle up, and it's going to come fast.
Layla, whilst you were speaking, you mentioned just what so many people have actually mentioned about OpenEXO, which is, hey, I found my tribe of people.
Sure.
And generally that's linked around MTP, around the
Yeah.
fact that an exponential organization needs to have a massive transformative purpose. And the community that lives around exponential organizations are people who look at purpose first. And so, in terms of you and your MTP, do you mind sharing it and how you are going about actually pursuing reaching that MTP?
My MTP is to elevate humanity. That's simple but deadly all at the same
Yes,
time,
yes.
because there's so many ways you can go with that. But I needed that kind of range because my brain goes a multitude of different ways. And for me to rein it in and feel satisfied, it has to be able to expand. If I'm not able to expand, I feel stifled. I can deal with that. I have done that, but I don't want to do that anymore. This is a time of expansion. We don't need any of us, and I mean any of us, any of you who watch this video, we do not need you to play small right now. We need you to bring your biggest self, your secret biggest self to the table. Bring your A game, because we need your A game right now. We need you to dream your biggest dream, because let's just say Mo is right. Mo Gadot is right. He has witnessed the birth of a new species.
We have had this conversation within the community before, and there are a bunch of people who have said things like, I have so many things that I want to do in life and that I am doing, and therefore I have these multiple massive purposes. And I think the way you've looked at this is, hey, I have this one massive purpose, and there's most likely going to be a number of different initiatives that are going to help to elevate that purpose.
Here's the thing, Kevin. You got to learn who you are, right? And I learned a long time ago, you know, that jack of all trades comment that people have thrown in our face.
Yeah.
Learning that that was not the end of the quote was important. Okay. Learning that that was only half of the quote. And it continues to essentially, I'm paraphrasing now. I should know it because it did matter that much to me to learn it. But paraphrasing is, yes, you could be a jack of all trades and master none, but that will be better than having just mastered one. And I'm like, wow, okay, you couldn't have said that before.
No, absolutely. And so you said you came across EXO, sort of dive deep because that's the way you do things. What would you say has distinguished OpenEXO from other platforms or communities that you have been a part of before?
I wasn't a big community person prior to, number one, because I come from a very large family. And so I was born with my own tribe.
Yes.
But when you are small, that's different than being an adult and having to know your friends, your cousins, your aunts and uncles as adults. You may not have the same interest, because when you were younger, you were just happy to be playing in the snow or the sand or the whatever together, right? When you become an adult, you want somebody who understands your interests. And for most people, the things that I think about is essentially Charlie Brown's teacher. Like, they are here, want. They have no interest in the things that I am talking about, because business and AI is not their thing, right? Yes. And so hopefully we're going to get people shifted so that they realize that everybody can find their thing with AI and the new technologies that are coming out. So that's first of all.
Yeah.
But still, it's not what they wake up every day thinking about. And it's kind of what I wake up every day thinking about, right? So finding my tribe of people, I never have to explain to somebody when I have a new idea and a new thing that I want to try. I never have to explain to somebody in OpenEXO why. And no one ever asks me, why do you want to do that? Like, no one ever asks that, because they assume that because you want to do it and it's a good idea that you should try it, or at least see where it goes. That is such a wonderful feeling. We don't feel like aliens.
Yes.
When we are here.
The EXO model gives us a language to speak about all the different EXO attributes. And then, of course, the exponential technologies that live atop those. some of which, like AI, which is a technology that embodies the algorithm's attributes, right? After reading the book and being a part of the community and understanding the model, is there any parts of the EXO model that resonate with you or above any other?
I would say the primary one that really excites me is staff on demand. And the reason why that does is because I spent many years of my life working in the temp space because I like to be able to try different companies and things. And if you were a temp, you didn't have to stay there for years upon years. I used to be a temp in a place for 2 years at a time, but it still gave me the ability to move and try something different. And I needed, in my personal life, the flexibility of seeing how multiple companies work,
Mm.
how they do things. Because I was C suite, I was seeing how the CEO, the chairman, the CFO, the general counsel, what were they thinking? What made them make that decision? Helping them prepare the documentation to make that decision. So I could understand, why was this a good idea over that? Because that wasn't something I could get from the news, or unless they specifically wrote a book. I could apply the things I read in the business books and see what would I have thought about that decision if I was making that decision. But I was just the executive assistant, so nobody was expecting me to say anything of import
Mm.
most of the time. But in my personal life, I was building up an arsenal of knowledge to use one day for myself. And never in the history of all time that we know of has there been an opportunity to weaponize your own brain. Like, wow. You can literally apply your brain in its all its fullness, not the little pieces that you get to glob onto every day if you are paying attention. Because unless you're like meditating and doing other things to quiet your mind, you're not even giving yourself the opportunity to think your full thoughts. But now you can utilize your full brain, your full interest, and bring your full self to the table in such a interesting and unique way.
Whilst you were talking there, it made me think to ask a question. Given that you spend so much time in multiple different organizations, we often speak about the fact that organizations have what we call a corporate immune system, right, to
Mhm.
innovation.
Oh, I've seen,
And it would be interesting to see, like, what you've
I
seen
have
in
seen
different
it.
organizations, and
Oh, yes.
are different ones different depending on is it the people or is it the industry? Not that you've done research, so
Oh, no,
but
no, not technically, but yes, I have been recording that in my brain
yes.
about how different companies react to change. Who brought the change in makes a difference. What the leadership thinks of change makes a difference. How old is your employee age group? That can make a difference. There's factors that weigh as to how big of an immune system response you receive, but you will almost always get one. I would say a good 95 out of 100 times. It just may vary on how intense. But there will always be the people in the company. Like, I was talking to my best friend and my mom in separate conversations because both of our mothers worked in Wall Street when we were growing up. And I remember what they were saying, what she would come home and complain about when people were talking about they did not want to use email. And this is ridiculous. Who's ever going to use this? This is so stupid. No one is going to ever do this. To all the parents in the world, you have to admit, you have to be able to call a spade a spade. You guys were wrong about video games. Just admit it, take it on the chin, and call it a day. You were wrong about video games. They were not rotting their brain, they were not wasting their lives. The ones who do that to a high level are making more than most actors and actresses. It's making more than any other entertainment industry.
It is just so crazy how within the lifespan of someone born in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even maybe into the 80s, how in your life you've just seen so much tremendous change versus kids right now who are grown up digital, not actually seeing the rapid change because it's almost always been there. I actually wonder whether they're at a disadvantage because of that. Because for those of us who grew up with a fax machine becoming email, becoming a text message, you can sort of understand that
Yes.
exponential curve.
They may not have a real appreciation for it,
Yeah.
but here's the thing about technology, here's the thing about nature, it doesn't really care whether we get it or not. It's going to do its thing. And we're going to have to deal. However, we find a way to deal is going to be up to us, right?
Yeah.
You remember having rotary phones with the cords,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
They will never understand the idea of propping yourself up against the kitchen wall, sitting on the floor so that you could, because you're tired of standing up, so that you could talk to your friend for hours upon hours upon hours. They don't even understand this motion. Like, they're like, what is that motion? Because for them, that is this, because they're used to holding a phone in their hand or a screen in their hand, right? So I don't know what the commonalities will be between generations with the speed in which things are going.
Hmm. How would you say that your business journey or your professional development journey has actually been impacted since joining the OpenEXO community?
Oh, a lot. So, number one, I have joined forces with a couple of different people within the community working on different projects.
Hmm.
I just got my EXO Pro Foundation certifications and plan to get the rest of the certifications, because at the end of the day, I do believe that it is a EXO exponentialize your is exponentialize your word. We're just making that up for today. Don't look it up in the dictionary. I don't think it's real. But exponentialize yourself or bust. Okay? It's either do it or don't exist. I don't know that people would be consciously choosing not to exist,
Yeah.
but they are choosing to do ostrich mode right now and stick their head in the sand. And that may be okay, but if Mo is right and we just witnessed the birth of a new species, that species is going to grow up.
Yeah.
What then?
It's why we, at the beginning of this decade, we pretty much said, listen, we really feel that if you're not an EXO by the end of this decade, we don't think you're going to exist. You need to be able to be thinking this way. This allows you to leverage new technologies like AI and the many others that we don't even know are there, that AI is probably going to even create. And so, with that, would you say you're pretty optimistic, though, about the future?
Yes, I am generally an optimistic person. Can I also simultaneously know that humans can do something very stupid at any given time? That is also a yes, like
Yes.
capital letters, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. So, therefore, I have high hopes for where AI will take us. There will be bumps in the road. Those bumps in the road may hurt a lot. A whole million people died during COVID. The bumps in the road will hurt a lot. The bumps in the road may change people's lives, possibly in the negative,
Yeah.
right? It is a fact. It's possible. But so could driving your car down the street today. And you're not going to stop doing that. And if this is now the one time in all of history that people have a chance, like all people have a chance to, if they embrace these technologies, level set their whole life and give themselves a whole new, like literally, let your imagination guide where you could be. Let these tools be applied to that. Let this framework of exponential technologies be applied to that, and then see where you are. Because guess what? Time is going to happen either way. You could be exactly where you are 3 years from now when the rest of the world is in 2027 doing all kinds of things. And meanwhile, you can be a person trying to hold on to your iPhone 11 or whatever it is that you have and have a miserable life. You could have that. That could be your choice. I don't know why that would be your choice when the access to this for many, many people right now is as close to cheap as cheap could be. And for the ones that don't have the access yet, it's coming. But guess what? You are millions more people with millions more brains and ideas and concepts that can also revolutionize the world. Don't worry about what you're missing out from when the wave is over here, because by the time it gets to you, number one, things will be easier because AI would have made it easier for you to then apply your special sauce. You can literally be the next person to change the world and literally send it in a whole new trajectory.
And so, Layla, that takes me to the last question, which I think you've sort of answered, but I'm going to ask you to answer it again, which is If there is only one thing that you could share from today's call, what is that one thing?
It's important to find your tribe and not a tribe of negativity. Yes, we can lock step ourselves and hook arms with a chain of pain, essentially, and take yourself down a rabbit hole of pain. Or you can choose to hook on to the potential of this technology. I am blown away literally every day. Like every day, something, at least every 2 days, because some weeks are slower than others. Um, at least every 2 days, I am blown away by something that is happening in this space. I would rather, even if you are unsure, just try. You could be the missing link to we don't know what. Just try.
Layla, we could talk for hours, but we're going to have to
Yes,
cut this short. I didn't say it at the beginning, but thank you for being an amazing community member, someone who's come in and participates, is looking to learn as much as you do, to share as much as you do. We really, really appreciate it. That's what we need, more active
yes,
people, more people who really believe that we can transform the world for a better future. I
yes.
agree with you. There are going to be bumps on the road, but thank you so much. It's been
You're
a
welcome.
real pleasure chatting to you. And yeah, we'll see you in the Discord and online and in the different events for sure.
Exactly, 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 exactly.
Amazing. So thank you, Layla, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.